Music has always been my refuge, my sanctuary, my language with God. When I can't find words, I sing. When I can't express pain, I worship. When I can't understand life, I let music carry me. Since I was a child, music was everything. Church choir, school choir, college choir, every opportunity, every stage. Music wasn't just what I did, it was who I was. It was my identity, my purpose, my calling. When I married Lawrence, I thought I'd found someone who understood that, someone who valued that, someone who protected that. Lawrence was the worship pastor at Elevation Grace Church, had been for 8 years, anointed, gifted, passionate about worship, about leading people into God's presence through music. We met when I joined the church choir 10 years ago. I was 25. He was 27. Both young, both passionate, both called to worship ministry. We connected immediately, started dating 6 months later, engaged 14 months after that, married in a beautiful ceremony with the entire choir singing. It was perfect. We were perfect. Music was our foundation, our connection, our shared calling. We built a life around worship, around music, around ministry. I became assistant choir director, helped Lawrence coordinate, organize, arrange. We were a team, a unit, a partnership. Everyone said we were goals, said they wanted what we had, said we were the example of a worship couple, ministry couple, God-honoring couple. We smiled, agreed, believed it ourselves, thought we had something special, something solid, something eternal. But music can lie, can cover, can mask. Beautiful harmonies can hide discord. Perfect arrangements can hide chaos. Anointed worship can hide sin. And for 2 years, our worship covered lies. Our music masked betrayal. Our ministry hid the fact that Lawrence was having an affair with the woman who'd just become our lead choir director. The woman who stood in front of 150 voices every Sunday, leading us into worship. The woman everyone respected, everyone admired, everyone trusted. The woman who was sleeping with my husband. And I had no idea. None. Because I was too busy singing, too busy worshiping, too busy believing the harmony was real. December 24th, 2023. Christmas Eve service, the biggest service of the year at Elevation Grace. 2 services, 5 p.m. and 7 p.m., packed. Over 2,000 people each service. The choir had been rehearsing for months, Christmas cantata, special arrangements, guest musicians, orchestra, full production. This was our Super Bowl, our showcase, our moment to give God our absolute best. And leading us was our new choir director, Victoria James. Victoria joined Elevation Grace in January 2023, almost 2 years ago. She'd moved from California, relocating for work, looking for a church home, visited Elevation, heard our choir, approached Lawrence, said she had experience, had led choirs, had training, had passion. Could she audition? Lawrence was thrilled. We'd been needing a strong choir director, someone to take the choir to the next level, someone with vision, with skill, with anointing. He auditioned her. She was incredible. Voice like an angel, range, power, control, leadership presence. He hired her immediately, made her lead choir director. She started in February 2023. I liked her. From the beginning, she was talented, professional, kind, easy to work with. Made my role as assistant director seamless. We worked well together, coordinated, collaborated, built rapport. I considered her a colleague, maybe even a friend. Trusted her, respected her, valued her contribution to our ministry. Never suspected, never questioned, never imagined she was destroying my marriage from the inside. Christmas Eve 2023. I woke up excited. This was my favorite service of the year. Christmas music, candlelight, the story of Jesus, family, joy, peace. Everything Christmas represents, everything I loved about church, about worship, about faith. I'd been preparing my voice for weeks, vocal rest, hydration, warm-ups, I was ready, ready to sing, ready to worship, ready to lead others into encountering God through music. Lawrence was different that morning. Quiet, distracted, tense. I asked if he was okay. He said yes. Just nervous about the service, about everything going well, about the production being smooth. Normal pre-service jitters. I understood, supported him, prayed with him, encouraged him, told him it would be beautiful, God would be glorified, people would encounter Jesus. He nodded, smiled weakly, said thank you, then retreated into his office, spent the day there, preparing, praying, or so I thought. At 3:30 p.m. we left for the church, arriving early for sound check, for final rehearsal, for prayer. The choir was already gathering. 150 voices, all dressed in burgundy and gold, our Christmas colors, everyone excited, everyone ready, everyone anticipating. Victoria was on stage, directing warm-ups, looking radiant, wearing a gorgeous burgundy dress, hair styled perfectly, makeup flawless. She looked like she belonged on that stage, like she was born for this moment, like worship was her destiny. I joined the choir, took my place. Alto section, second row, my spot. Victoria saw me, smiled, waved, mouthed, "You look beautiful." I smiled back, mouthed, "You too." Felt grateful for her leadership, for her presence, for making our choir excellent, making our worship powerful, making our ministry impactful. We rehearsed for 30 minutes, running through arrangements, perfecting entrances, tightening harmonies. Victoria was in her element, commanding, confident, anointed, every motion, every cue, every direction, perfect. The choir responded. We sounded incredible, tight, balanced, powerful. This was going to be a special service, a memorable service, a God-glorifying service. At 4:30 p.m., we gathered for prayer. All ministry leaders, choir, musicians, tech team, ushers, greeters, everyone involved. Lawrence led prayer, asking God to be glorified, asking for his presence, asking for people to encounter Jesus, asking for worship to be authentic, not performance, not show, but genuine, real, transformative. I agreed, prayed silently, asking God to use me, use my voice, use our choir, for his glory, for his purposes, for his kingdom. The 5 p.m. service started. Church was packed, every seat filled, people standing in back, overflow rooms activated. Christmas brings everyone, regulars, visitors, once-a-year attendees, everyone wanting to experience Christmas. The lights dimmed, orchestra played intro, and Victoria stepped to the mic, raised her hands, smiled at the choir. We stood, ready. She counted us in, and we began. "O holy night, the stars are brightly shining. It is the night of our dear Savior's birth." Victoria's voice soared, leading, carrying, setting the atmosphere. The choir joined, harmonies blending, building, swelling. The congregation rose, joined in singing. The presence of God descended, thick, heavy, beautiful. This was worship, real worship, authentic encounter. Everything we'd prayed for, everything we'd prepared for, everything Christmas service should be. I sang, lost in the moment, lost in the presence, lost in worship, eyes closed, hands raised, voice blending with 149 others, creating something bigger than ourselves, something beautiful, something eternal. This was why I loved music, why I loved worship, why I lived for moments like this. This was home. This was purpose. This was everything. We sang 6 songs, each one building, each one powerful, each one ushering people deeper into God's presence. Victoria led flawlessly. Every transition, every key change, every moment, perfect. The choir was on fire. The congregation was engaged. The atmosphere was electric. This was everything we'd hoped for, prayed for, prepared for. After the final song, Victoria stepped back, hands still raised, face radiant, tears streaming. She'd led us into something holy, something sacred, something transcendent. The congregation erupted. Applause, shouts, praise, celebrating what God had done, what worship had accomplished, what music had facilitated. Lawrence took the stage, hugged Victoria, whispered something in her ear. She nodded, smiled, stepped off stage. He addressed the congregation. If you haven't experienced the power of anointed worship before, you just did. Our choir director, Sister Victoria James, is a gift from God to this ministry. Let's give her another round of applause. The church erupted again, celebrating Victoria, honoring her, thanking God for her. I clapped too. Genuinely, she deserved it. She was incredible, had elevated our choir, had taken us places we'd never been, had led us into worship depths we'd never experienced. I was grateful for her, grateful she was part of our ministry, grateful God had brought her to Elevation Grace. The 5 p.m. service ended at 6:15, short break before 7 p.m. service. The choir dispersed, some getting food, some fellowshipping, some resting voices. I went to find Lawrence, to connect, to pray together before the second service, to share the excitement of what God had done. I walked to his office. Door was closed. I knocked. No answer. I tried the handle. Locked. Strange. He never locked his office during services. I called his phone. Straight to voicemail. I asked around. Has anyone seen Pastor Lawrence? No one had. Since he left the stage after the 5 p.m. service, no one had seen him. Odd, but not alarming. Maybe he was praying somewhere. Maybe in the sanctuary. Maybe in the prayer room. Maybe somewhere quiet preparing for the second service. I'd catch him before 7. At 6:45, I returned to the choir room. Everyone gathering for the 7 p.m. service. Victoria was there, touching up makeup, reviewing notes, preparing. I approached. Hey, amazing job first service. You were incredible. She smiled. Thank you. God really showed up, didn't he? I nodded. Absolutely. Have you seen Lawrence? I can't find him. She hesitated. Just a second. Then said, he's probably in his office. Praying. Preparing. You know how he gets before big services. I nodded. Yeah, you're right. I'll check again. I went back to his office. Still locked. Still no answer. I called again. This time he answered. Third ring. Hey, babe. Where are you? I've been looking everywhere. His voice sounded off, strained, rushed. I'm around. Just preparing, praying, getting ready for second service. Are you in your office? I'm outside your door. It's locked. Long pause. Too long. Then, I'm not there right now. I'll meet you before service. Gotta go. He hung up, before I could respond, before I could ask more questions. Just hung up. Something felt wrong. Very wrong. But I pushed it away, told myself I was being paranoid, being suspicious for no reason. He was just busy, just preparing, just focused. Nothing wrong, nothing hidden, nothing to worry about. The 7 p.m. service started, same as before. Orchestra intro, Victoria stepping to the mic, choir standing, ready to sing. But this time, something was different. I couldn't focus, couldn't lose myself in worship, couldn't stop thinking about Lawrence, about his voice on the phone, about the locked office, about the hesitation, about Victoria's face when I asked about him. Something was wrong. And I couldn't shake it. We sang the same 6 songs, same arrangements, same everything. But it felt different, felt hollow, felt performative, like going through motions without meaning, without connection, without presence. I sang the notes, hit the harmonies, did my part. But my heart wasn't in it. My mind was elsewhere, wondering, questioning, doubting. After the final song, Victoria stepped back again. Same tears, same radiance, same everything. But this time, I watched her differently. Watched how Lawrence looked at her. Watched how he touched her shoulder when he hugged her. Watched how she smiled at him. Watched the familiarity. The comfort, the intimacy, and something in my spirit screamed. Danger, betrayal, lies. I shook it off, told myself I was imagining things, creating problems where none existed, being insecure, being jealous of her talent, her anointing, her leadership. I was wrong, had to be wrong. This was crazy, paranoid, unfounded. After the 7 p.m. service, everyone celebrated, hugging, praising, thanking God, thanking each other. It had been an incredible night. 2 powerful services. Thousands of people encountered God. The choir had performed flawlessly. Victoria had led brilliantly. Everything had gone perfectly. We took pictures, posted on social media, celebrated the success, the blessing, the favor. Everything looked perfect, sounded perfect, felt perfect, on the surface. But underneath, I was drowning in suspicion, in doubt, in questions I couldn't answer, in feelings I couldn't explain, in intuition I couldn't ignore. Lawrence and I drove home at 9:30 p.m. Silent drive. He was on his phone, texting. I asked who he was texting. He said choir members, thanking them, encouraging them, celebrating. I nodded, accepted it, didn't push, didn't pry, didn't demand to see, just accepted, just trusted, just believed. We got home. He went straight to bed, said he was exhausted, drained, needed to sleep. I stayed up, couldn't sleep, kept replaying the night. Victoria's hesitation, Lawrence's locked office, his strained voice, the way they looked at each other, the familiarity, the comfort. Something was there, something I couldn't see but could feel, something wrong, something hidden, something destroying. Christmas morning, December 25th. I woke early, 6 a.m. Lawrence's side of the bed was empty. I went downstairs, found him in his office, on his phone, again, texting, again. I cleared my throat. He jumped, locked his phone, put it down. Merry Christmas, babe. He came, hugged me, kissed my forehead. Mechanical, routine, no warmth, no presence, just performing, just pretending. We opened gifts, just the 2 of us, no kids. We'd wanted children, tried for years, nothing, medical issues, infertility, pain, disappointment, eventually accepted it. Chose to focus on ministry instead. Chose to pour into the church, into worship, into other people's children. It was our compromise, our acceptance, our peace, or so I thought. After gifts, we got ready for Christmas Day service. 11 a.m. Another big service. More singing, more worship, more Victoria leading. I wasn't looking forward to it. Couldn't shake the feeling, the suspicion, the doubt. But I went, because that's what you do. You show up, you serve, you fulfill commitments. Even when you're breaking inside, even when you're drowning, even when you're dying. At church, Victoria was already there. Same radiance, same confidence, same everything. She hugged me. Merry Christmas, sister. So grateful for you, for your support, for your partnership in ministry. I hugged back, stiff, forced, mechanical. Something in me couldn't reciprocate, couldn't match her energy, couldn't pretend everything was fine. The service started. Same format, orchestra, Victoria leading, choir singing, congregation worshiping. Same excellence, same anointing, same power. But I couldn't engage, couldn't worship, couldn't sing with my heart, just my voice, just my training, just muscle memory. Everything in me felt dead, disconnected, distant. After service, I watched Victoria and Lawrence, watched how they interacted, watched her touch his arm, watched him smile at her, watched them step away. Private conversation, private moment, private connection. And I knew with certainty, knew beyond doubt, knew beyond questions. Something was happening, something wrong, something I needed to confront. I waited until everyone left, until the church was empty, until it was just staff, just core team, just those who stayed to clean up, to put away, to close down. I found Lawrence, in his office, door open this time. I walked in, closed the door behind me, locked it. "We need to talk," I said. My voice was calm, too calm, dangerously calm. He looked up. "About what?" "About you and Victoria. About whatever is happening. About why you're different. About why your phone is always locked. About why you're distant. About why you look at her the way you used to look at me. About why I feel like I'm losing you. About why everything feels wrong." He stared at me. Long silence. Too long. Then, "There's nothing happening. Victoria and I are colleagues, ministry partners, nothing more. You're imagining things, being insecure, being paranoid. There's nothing to talk about." I walked closer, looked him in the eyes. "Don't lie to me. Don't gaslight me. Don't make me feel crazy for noticing what's obvious. Something is happening. I can feel it. I can see it. I can sense it. And I need you to be honest, right now. Is there something between you and Victoria?" He held my gaze, then looked away, sighed, ran his hands over his face. Long pause, then quietly, "Yes, there's something. There has been for a while, since the summer. 6 months. We didn't mean for it to happen, didn't plan it, didn't want it, but it did. And now I don't know what to do, don't know how to stop it, don't know how to choose." The room tilted, spun, stopped. I couldn't breathe, couldn't think, couldn't process. 6 months, since summer. The woman leading our choir, the woman I worked with, trusted, respected, partnered with, had been sleeping with my husband for 6 months, while leading us in worship, while singing about holiness, while pretending to honor God. All lies, all deception, all betrayal. "I need details," I said. My voice was ice, cold, hard, dead. "I need to know everything, how it started, how often, where, when, everything." He owed me that, owed me truth, owed me full disclosure. He told me everything. Started in July, 4 months after she joined. Late night rehearsal, just the two of them, working on arrangements. Got personal, got emotional, got physical. One kiss became more. One time became regular, twice a week, at her apartment. When I thought he was at the church, at meetings, at counseling sessions, at ministry events. All lies, all cover, all time with her. I asked if he loved her. He said he didn't know, said he cared about both of us, said he was confused, said he didn't want to hurt anyone, didn't want to choose, didn't want to lose either, wanted both, wanted everything. Wanted to keep his marriage, keep his ministry, keep his mistress, keep his perfect image, keep his perfect life, without consequences, without cost, without truth. I looked at him, at this man I'd been married to for 9 years, this man I'd built ministry with, worshipped with, served with, trusted completely, and I felt nothing, no love, no anger, no pain, just emptiness, complete emptiness. He'd killed everything, every feeling, every connection, every bond, just killed it. With 6 months of lies, 6 months of betrayal, 6 months of making me worship alongside his mistress. "Get out," I said quietly. "What?" "Get out. Of this office, of this church, of my life. I'm done, completely done. You made your choice, you chose her, for 6 months. So have her, be with her, build with her. Worship with her. I'm done being option, being backup, being wife to a man who wants someone else. Get out." "Shayna, wait, please. Let's talk. Let's work through this. Let's get counseling. No, there's nothing to work through, nothing to counsel, nothing to fix. You destroyed this, you and her, together, while leading worship, while preaching holiness, while pretending to honor God. You're a hypocrite. She's a hypocrite. And I'm done being part of the lie. Get out." He left, slowly, reluctantly, hoping I'd change my mind, hoping I'd call him back, hoping I'd forgive, choose grace, choose reconciliation. But I didn't. Just let him walk out, close the door, Leave me alone. In his office, in the church, in the aftermath of devastation. I sat there for an hour, just sat, staring at nothing, feeling everything and nothing, processing, trying to understand, trying to accept, trying to figure out what came next. What do you do when your husband is having an affair with the worship leader? When your marriage and your ministry collapse simultaneously? When everything you built, everything you valued, everything you believed, falls apart in one conversation? I called my best friend, Tiffany, told her everything. She came immediately, picked me up, took me to her house, let me cry, let me rage, let me break, held space for me, for my pain, for my devastation, for my shattered world. Over the next week, between Christmas and New Year's, I made decisions. Filed for divorce, didn't wait, didn't hesitate, didn't give Lawrence a chance to manipulate, to convince, to lie more, just filed, hired lawyer, started proceedings, fast, aggressive, final. I resigned from the choir, from Elevation Grace, couldn't stay, couldn't worship there, couldn't watch Victoria lead, couldn't pretend, couldn't perform. Couldn't keep singing in a place built on lies. Sent email to leadership. Explained situation. Not publicly, not dramatically, just factually. Lawrence and Victoria having affair. I'm leaving. Effective immediately. Won't be returning. The church was shocked, devastated, angry, not at me, at Lawrence, at Victoria, at the betrayal, at the deception, at leaders living double lives. Emergency board meeting was called. Both were questioned. Both admitted affair. Both were removed from all ministry positions. Lawrence resigned as worship pastor. Victoria resigned as choir director. Both put under church discipline. Both disqualified from serving. Both facing consequences. But I didn't stay to watch, didn't stay to see, didn't stay at all. Left Elevation Grace. Found new church, fresh start, new community, anonymous, unknown. Just another face in the crowd. No leadership, no ministry, no platform, just member, just worshiper. Just someone seeking God without expectations, without performance, without pretense. The divorce finalized March 2024. 3 months, quick, clean, final. I got the house, my car, half his retirement, everything I asked for. He didn't fight, couldn't fight, was too guilty, too ashamed, too destroyed by his own choices. Signed everything, gave me everything, hoped it would ease his conscience. It didn't. But at least I was free, legally, officially, completely. Lawrence and Victoria tried staying together, tried building relationship, tried making affair work. Lasted 4 months, broke up May 2024, because what they built was fake. Built on stolen moments, secret encounters, forbidden thrills. Couldn't survive reality, couldn't survive daylight, couldn't survive being together openly. Fell apart, spectacularly. Both ended up alone, both ended up jobless, both ended up disgraced, both ended up destroyed by their own choices. Me? I started healing. Really healing. Not performing healing, not pretending healing. Actually healing. Started therapy. Dr. Carmen Hughes. Specialized in betrayal, in ministry abuse, in rebuilding after religious trauma. She was incredible. Helped me process. Helped me understand that what Lawrence and Victoria did wasn't about me, wasn't my fault, wasn't my failure, was about their brokenness, their choices, their sin. I started singing again, but differently. Not for church, not for ministry, not for anyone. Just for me, just for healing, just for joy. Joined community choir, secular, no religion, no ministry, no expectations, just music, pure music. For love of art, for love of harmony, for love of expression. It was freeing, liberating, healing. Music without agenda, without performance, without pretense, just music. I went back to school, something I'd always wanted. Masters in music therapy, using music for healing, for therapy, for transformation. Started classes May 2024. Online program. flexible, manageable, challenging. I loved it, loved learning, loved growing, loved building future beyond church, beyond ministry, beyond being worship pastor's wife. I started dating, slowly, cautiously, not looking for anything serious, just testing waters, seeing what's there. His name was Andre, music professor at local college. Met him at a concert. We talked about music, about life, about healing, about rebuilding. He'd been divorced too, understood the journey. We started as friends. Coffee, concerts, conversations. Nothing rushed, nothing pressured, just organic, natural, real. 1 year after Christmas 2023, December 2024, I was invited to lead worship at my new church, Restoration Life Fellowship. They knew my story, knew my background, knew I'd been hurt by church leadership, still invited me, still valued me, still saw my gift, still wanted me to use it, not as job, not as position, just as gift, just as offering, just as worship. I said yes, nervously, scared, wondering if I could, wondering if I should, wondering if worship was still mine to give, or if Lawrence and Victoria had stolen that too, had tainted it, had ruined it, had made it impossible. I stepped on stage, first time in a year, since that Christmas Eve, since singing alongside her, since leading worship in a lie. I looked at the congregation, 300 people, strangers, new family, safe community. I opened my mouth and sang. Amazing grace. How sweet the sound. That saved a wretch like me. My voice broke. On the first line. Emotion overwhelming, tears streaming. But I kept singing. Through the tears, through the pain, through the year, through the devastation, through the rebuilding, kept singing. Because music is mine, not Lawrence's, not Victoria's. Mine, my gift, my calling, my purpose. And they couldn't take that, couldn't steal that, couldn't ruin that. It was mine, always mine, forever mine. The congregation rose, joined me, 300 voices, singing, worshiping, creating something beautiful, something real, something honest, no pretense, no performance, no lies, just worship, pure worship, authentic worship, transformative worship. I sang 6 songs, same number as Christmas Eve, but different songs, different spirit, different atmosphere, not produced, not polished, not perfect, just real, raw, broken, healing, human, divine, both, simultaneously. After the last song, I stepped back, hands raised, face wet, heart full. I'd done it, led worship again, reclaimed my calling, reclaimed my voice, reclaimed my gift, despite Lawrence, despite Victoria, despite betrayal, despite devastation, despite everything. I was still me, still worshiper, still called, still anointed, still purposed, still alive. The pastor approached, hugged me, whispered, "That was beautiful, that was anointed, that was real. Thank you for your obedience. Thank you for your courage. Thank you for showing us what worship looks like when it's not performance but surrender." I nodded, cried, released, grateful, whole. December 2025. 2 years after discovering the woman leading the choir was my husband's mistress. I'm 37 years old, divorced, music therapist in training, worship leader at Restoration Life, dating Andre, living in my own home, driving my own car, building my own life, from ruins, from ashes, from devastation. And I'm thriving, not just surviving, thriving, living, singing, worshiping, being. Lawrence is remarried to someone else, not Victoria, someone new, someone who doesn't know his history. I pray for her. Hope she's wise. Hope she asks questions. Hope she demands honesty. Hope she protects herself. But that's not my responsibility, not my concern, not my problem. I did my time, learned my lessons, moved forward. Victoria left ministry completely, left music, left church. Too much shame, Too much guilt, too much damage. Couldn't face people, couldn't face God, couldn't face herself. She moved to another state, started over, away from everything, away from everyone. I heard she's in therapy, working through things, rebuilding. I pray for her too, despite everything, despite the pain she caused, despite the devastation she created. I pray. Because forgiveness doesn't mean friendship, doesn't mean forgetting, doesn't mean trusting. Just means releasing, letting God handle it, moving forward without chains. At our Christmas service 2 years ago, the woman leading the choir was my husband's mistress. And I sang alongside her, worshipped with her, harmonized with her, trusted her, respected her, valued her, all while she was destroying my marriage, all while she was sleeping with my husband, all while she was living a lie, and it destroyed me, devastated me, shattered everything I believed about worship, about ministry, about marriage, about trust, about church, about everything. But it also freed me from fake worship, from performative Christianity, from ministry built on image, from marriage built on lies, from being someone's option, someone's backup, someone's second choice. It freed me to find my voice, my real voice, not the one that performed, but the one that worships, from brokenness, from pain, from honesty, from truth. Music is still my refuge, my sanctuary, my language with God. But now it's more. It's my healing, my therapy, my testimony, my redemption, my story. I don't sing to impress, don't sing to perform, don't sing to lead ministry, sing to worship, to heal, to live, to be. And that's enough, more than enough, everything. At our Christmas service, the woman leading the choir was my husband's mistress, and it changed everything, destroyed everything, then rebuilt everything, better, real, true, whole. And I'm grateful. Not grateful for the betrayal, but grateful for the truth, grateful for the freedom, grateful for the woman I've become, grateful for the voice I've found, grateful for the worship that's now mine, completely, authentically, finally, mine. Let's pause and reflect together. Imagine standing on a stage, leading worship, singing your heart out, creating beautiful harmonies, ushering people into God's presence. Now imagine the person leading you, the one directing you, the one everyone admires, is secretly destroying your marriage. That was me, for 6 months. I sang alongside her, trusted her, respected her, while she was sleeping with Lawrence, while she was stealing my life, while she was making me complicit in my own betrayal. Here's what I need you to understand. Betrayal wrapped in holiness is the cruelest kind, because it violates not just your marriage, but your faith, your calling, your identity, your sanctuary. It makes you question everything. If they could lie while leading worship, if they could betray while singing about faithfulness, if they could sin while performing holiness. What is real? What can you trust? Where is God in all of this? I want to ask you, question 1. If you discovered the worship leader at your church was having an affair with your spouse, could you ever worship in that space again? Or would you have to leave? Would the music be forever tainted? Comment. Stay or leave? Question 2. Have you ever had someone in ministry, a pastor, leader, or mentor, betray your trust? How did it affect your faith? Your ability to trust church leadership? Share your story if you're comfortable. Someone needs to know they're not alone. Question 3. Do you think Victoria showing up to lead worship while having an affair is worse than a regular affair? Or is betrayal regardless of context? Is there something particularly evil about sinning while leading others to God? Drop your thoughts below. Question 4. Could you have stepped on that stage and sang beside her? Knowing now what I didn't know then, that she was destroying me while harmonizing with me? How would you have handled it? Comment. Confront immediately, finish the service, or walk out. Question 5. I chose to leave Elevation Grace rather than fight to keep my place. Was that running away, or was it self-protection? Should I have stayed and fought, or was leaving the healthiest choice? What would you have done? Question 6. Music was my identity, my calling, my purpose, and they used it as the backdrop for betrayal. Have you ever had something sacred, something that defined you, violated by someone you trusted? How did you reclaim it, or did you have to let it go completely? Final question. When ministry leaders fall, do they take your faith down with them? Or can you separate their failure from God's faithfulness? Because that's the real question. Not whether Lawrence and Victoria were hypocrites, they were, but whether their sin means God isn't real, whether their betrayal means worship isn't sacred, whether their failure means your calling isn't valid. Can you separate the messenger from the message, the broken vessel from the living water, the fallen leader from the faithful God? Hit like if you believe your gifts belong to you, not to the people who tried to steal them. Subscribe for true stories of Black women who reclaimed what betrayal tried to destroy. Comment your answer to any question above. Your story might save someone. Remember, your calling doesn't die when your marriage does. Your voice doesn't break when your trust does. Your worship doesn't end when your leaders fall. Those things are yours, gifted by God, held by you, protected by grace. And no betrayal, no matter how public, how religious, how devastating, can take them from you. Unless you let it. Don't let it. Fight for your voice. Fight for your calling. Fight for your worship. It's yours. Always has been. Always will be. Keep singing. Even when it hurts. Especially when it hurts. Because that's when worship becomes real. See you in the next story.